fucked up. I heard Hollywood's closed. There's no more movies or TV. If it's new content, it won't be written by you or me. Spit by a computer, chat motherfucking GPT. Artificial intelligence will be your new TV. There will be robots, garden sets, and 3 years extras won't exist. And all the suits will stand up for this shit. Writers, wardrobe, set design, talent, makeup, VFX, a million jobs taken from artists for their bottom line test. This shit is crazy, man. We used to make a living wage. Now you gotta break rules. Say you live in another state just to be paid like a bitch. Another artistic slave. 3,000 an episode for your face worldwide. Would you take that much to hide from the public for your life? And that's just the start of what we're talking tonight. So get ready for the war with the bots, cause it's the Hollywood strike tonight on Dangerous Thoughts.
Power to the
Tonight
people.
on Dangerous Thoughts.
Power to the people. Power to the people. Power to the workers. Fuck the elite. Fuck the studios. Fuck.
Am I right not to say that word? They're taking everything from us, man. Let's get to it. Welcome to Dangerous Thoughts, everybody. I'm Manu Intiareme. My co-host tonight, as always, Tyson Strasberg. My producer, Cassie Rumore. Let's get to talking on the floor. Let's go. Yeah. Let's get to it. Hello, welcome to Dangerous Thoughts, everybody. I'm your host, Manu Interiam. Sorry, it's been 45 years, and I'm an actor, so I should be able to pronounce my own last name, but it is a difficult one. So I'm Manu Interiam. I'm Manu, and this is my host, my co-host, Tyson Strasberg, my producer down in the corner, Cassie Rumore, and welcome to Dangerous Thoughts. This is the show where every week we talk about something people don't necessarily want to discuss, or that they feel a little bit uncomfortable discussing, or that it's just an important issue in the moment. And we love to have people come and talk from both sides of the aisle, so to speak. We love to have different people with different opinions come on the show. So if you want to come on the show tonight and you want to come on live, all you need is your webcam, your computer, your phone, even some headphones would help. Write at Subscript Pirate on Twitter and say, hey, I would love to talk with Manu and Tyson tonight. And he will set you up with a link, and you can join us later in the show to ask your question or comment on the topic. So tonight's topic, you must have heard from the music that you were jamming to. Jamming. Wow, I'm old. Jamming. I just said jamming, Tyson. What do you say? Rocking to music?
I'm older than you. I don't think I'm going to be helpful in this situation.
Two-stepping to music?
Doing the jitterbug.
Doing the polka. So we're talking about the writers and the SAG strike tonight, and the greed of the Hollywood studio system and the streaming system. I've been calling for this strike for 20 years. I have been calling for this strike for a very long time. I can tell you a little bit. The thing about it is Hollywood has done such a good job. And the streamers, the studios, the powers that be, the elite, the businessmen of Hollywood, the propaganda machine of Hollywood has done such an incredible job of convincing the public that the talent behind Hollywood, from actors in front of the camera to wardrobe to all the talent, the set design, the composers, the makeup artists, etc. They've done such a good job. Sometimes there's 17,000 people that will work on one of these big budget movies. But they've done such a good job of convincing the public that these people are making an incredibly good living if you're on television or you work for television, that when people start to discuss how bad of a living actors and talent behind the camera are really making, I think a lot of the public reacts in a way that's like, whatever, you guys are whining. But the truth is, over the last 20 years, I'll just tell you guys a little bit about from my point of view. As an actor, my not because my career has taken any bad turns, but because of the general way in which the studios have manipulated the pay for actors and changed subtle rules. And they got really angry back in the early 2000s when Tom Cruise made more money than the studio did on one of his Mission Impossible films. And from what I heard through the grapevine, the studios all had this like big powwow meeting to figure out how to pay actors as little as they could from this point forward. And I saw over the last 20 years my pay cut by, at least in tenths. Um, uh, for instance, back in 2001, when I was working on Voyager, I would get the standard guest star rate for an actor in the Union was $9,000 an episode, 8,898 an episode, or something like that. But then the next week, Star Trek Voyager would air again on reruns. So you would get paid another $8,898 a week for your guest star spot. And then it would air half a year later or the next year during reruns. And slowly your residual pay would go down. So it would go down to 7,000 and then 5,000 and then 4,000 and then 3,000 and 2 and 500. And now we don't get residuals. Now with streaming, it's uh, it, residuals have it's not like they don't exist, but for the most part, residuals have gone away unless you're on a network television series that is still operating in that old school uh, mode of a syndicated show that airs and re-airs and re-airs. And even then, the residual amounts have gone drastically down, and they've chipped away at our pay. Um, so, what actors used to do is it's very hard to make a living as an actor. It's very hard to make a living as any talent in front or behind the camera in the entertainment industry. Um, so we used to rely on those residuals. We used to rely on those things to get us to the next job. There was also a time before movie stars started taking over commercials, and before our commercials contracts got axed by some poor negotiations in the past. If you got a Burger King commercial, or you got a Frito Lay commercial, or you got a Budweiser commercial, or some big product, you would get an incredible amount of money. You could get anywhere from 20 grand to 100 grand, depending on how much that commercial ran. And people today would say that's insane. But the truth of the matter is, you're selling your soul in a way when you put your face on a product like Burger King. I did a Burger King commercial, and I made close to $60,000 on it around 2002. And it saved my life and saved my career and saved my ability to work in Hollywood, because I didn't work for a good year that year. And that Burger King commercial is what kept the bills paid and kept me above water. And now they're paying people $1,200 buyouts for Burger King commercials and things like that, where you'll just go in and you get 1,800 or $1,200 for the day. You're bought out, and they can use that commercial as much as they want. And that's the norm for commercials nowadays. So all these things that actors used to have as a way to hope for the next job or pay their bills until they got the next job have been taken away. And now with the advent of streaming, when streaming first started, um, streaming was considered internet based, and so the studios were sneaking by using different language in their contract. They were saying this isn't a TV show, this is a web series, and so the pay was jacked even worse. And all these kind of tactics have been used over the years. I'll tell you another one that's really crazy that happens to actors all the time, and they put us in these positions where a movie will call you, and these are like actors like me that are I had a good run on Voyager, I had a good run on One Tree Hill, but I've never been a movie star. I've just been sort of a working actor, and working actors are struggling more than anyone, of course. um, they will call you for like a 2 week spot on a film, and say the film has a $10 million budget. They will call you and they will say, "Hey, we would love a talented actor from Los Angeles to come be in this movie and play this 2 week role." And they'll shoot you out as fast as they can, and they will ask you to fly to a different state or country even to work on said film. And they will ask you to lie and say that you live in that state so that you can work as a local hire. And if you say no to this, they won't hire you. So they put you in this legal quandary of lying and saying that you live in another state to get a paycheck that's basically, $1,500 a day at most, um, to star in a $10 million movie. Um, Meanwhile, the movie star is getting a good chunk of change. It's not the kind of money they used to get, but and subtle little things like this, like we make a tenth of what we used to make. We have to lie and break rules and break tax rules and break all sorts of industry rules to get jobs. And if you say no to the job, some other actor is going to take it. um, and then you get to the set, and these suits have the gall to put you up in a nice hotel and fly you out, and pick you up in a nice car and treat you like you're a movie star while they're paying you nothing, because they've got a good deal on the hotel, and they've got a good deal on the flight, and they've got a good deal on you as well. So that's just a small reason why the actor strike is happening. Um, a very pay cuts have gotten incredibly bad over the years. I actually knew a woman, and I won't say her name, but on her fifth television series, starring as the star of the series, one of two stars on this particular series I'm talking about, they offered her $6,000 an episode for 23 episodes. And this was the fifth series that she had done. Like, she was a legitimate TV star. They offered her $6,000 an episode, and they offered her no money to move, no money to move her family, no money to move her kids, no money to move herself, no money to find a new apartment, um, no money to find a new apartment in the city that she was working in. Um, and This is the type of behavior that has been happening, and much worse, from the studios and the streamers for the last 20 years. So I, for one, even though I lost 3 jobs already since the strike was announced, stuff shutting down, I lost jobs as an actor. um, I'm sort of celebrating that the Screen Actors Guild and the Writers Guild has finally stepped up to um, declare our worth, because I think that the studio system has forgotten how important it is, and how much the talent in front of the camera and behind the camera does for the quality of the movies they do. I've seen wardrobe artists working on $20 million, $40 million movies, making minimum wage, designing these elaborate costumes and sewing all night long and dealing with actors and uh, um, talent, overpaid talent. Not overpaid because nobody's overpaid anymore. And you think about this, right? $6,000 an episode. People think, wow, well, that's $6,000 a week. I'd like to get paid $6,000 a week. What are you whining about? But people forget that $6,000 a week means you're in the top tax bracket. The government treats you like that. So they take 40% or 35% or whatever it is. You've got to pay 10% to your agent. You've got to pay 10 to 15% to your manager. You've got to pay 10%, some 5% to 10% for your publicist. You've got to have an an attorney that's watching your hump, and entertainment attorneys are expensive. And by the time you finish this episode, that 6 grand is more like less than two. And that's what actors are working for. Like even star actors, even like, studs, that you would think, wow, that's a rich TV star. They're not. And I hope people listen to the show, and I hope people, even though this show is not going to be the funniest of Dangerous Thoughts, um, I hope people share it, because the actor strike and the writer strike. I read an article today, Tyson, that said the collapse of Hollywood itself is at stake. Uh, and I do think that's true, especially with this AI um, thing for the writers. The studios are testing AI to see if AI can write screenplays at the same or better quality that human beings can write screenplays. And from what I know about AI, just having watched a uh, documentary on AI just a couple days ago on Netflix, AI can beat our best fighter pilots uh, fighting the best jets that we have in our Navy and Air Force 99.9% of the time. AI can beat our best Go players, our best chess players, our best everything basically. Um, so I'm sure that these scripts can be written by these AI computers, if not today, very, very soon, and probably today. But I don't want to see scripts written by computers. I don't want to see. There's another thing with that 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 the Screen Actors Guild is concerned of when they're negotiating with the American Motion Picture Television Producers Association, the AMPTP or something like that. They're called. Is extras won't be even such a thing 3 4 years from now. And so there's thousands and thousands of actors hundreds of thousands of actors that come out to Hollywood every single year because they think they're going to get a chance to be a movie star or a TV star, and they end up having to do extra work. This was another thing that could at least give you a minimum wage job a day. It could give you 160 bucks, $150 a day. And extra work, believe me, is very hard work. You've got to you're called to the set back and forth, cheering, pretending to talk at a level that doesn't mess with the cameras. Professional extras work their butts off for that money, and they're saying that the AI is getting good enough at scanning human beings that all the human beings in the background of movies in the next 3 to 5 years won't be human. And so there's another job that you can't rely on uh, as an actor. Um, and I believe that the studios are even thinking one step further. They have this thing called the uncanny valley, right? When you've seen the new Mandalorian with Luke Skywalker, where he's back, and he looks young and he looks good, but there's something just still a titch off about him, where you don't quite believe that's young Luke Skywalker. That's a digital young Luke Skywalker. And as soon as they solve that uncanny valley problem, we're going to have actors that are going to be fully scanned by these computers and their voices taken from the internet. And uh, there'll be deals written so that they can just literally make you say and do anything, and you don't even have to show up to set. You just sell your image. And so actors are very worried about not even being in the movies anymore. I find all this stuff terrifying, and my hope, uh, honestly, is that in Los Angeles we put up red light cameras about 10 years ago, and there were red light cameras all over the city, and these good Los Angeles Americans said, you know what, we're sick of these things writing us tickets. They're writing us tickets wrong. When we're going through yellows correctly, they're still writing us tickets. And we voted to take all these red light cameras down. There's like maybe 3 or 4 left in the entire city of Los Angeles. I'm hoping that people won't stand for it. I'm hoping that productions will start saying, "Hey, this film was filmed using all real actors. These are real human beings you're watching. The extras in this movies, when you watch movies today, still, you'll see at the end of the picture, it'll say 17,000 jobs were provided by this movie. I'm hoping that the public wants to see more than digital actors, and still wants to see human beings do their jobs in motion pictures. But the studios are betting on that the public will stand for it, and so this strike is a terrifying thing. I'm scared. Uh, um, we talk about this show that me and you worked on, Star Crew, that I've been working on for 5 years to try to get off as a series on one of these streaming platforms. And I believe we'll sell it, and I believe we'll make it, but I want to make it with human beings. know, I want to make it with stuntmen. Um, if you'd like to join our stream, and if you'd like to talk about this on Twitter, Subscript Pirate will send you a link, and especially if there's any and not, I'm actually headed for tomorrow morning, early morning, to join the lines with my fellow actors and fellow movie stars. Yeah, been in 100 movies, but I haven't quite been started a few, but I'm not Tom Cruise. But I will talk to you about that dude. Um, and so you think about movie stars too. Uh, uh, Movie stars are getting paid. 20 years ago, movie stars were averaging 20 million a uh, film. There were like the top 100 movie stars, the top 50 movie stars were averaging these $20 million paychecks. And when a movie makes $1 billion, that makes a little bit of sense. But they've got movie stars now, that guys that you would think are making these high numbers, they're making 2.5 or 3.5. And do the math. The government takes 50% of that. The managers take 15%. Agents take 15%. Publicist takes 10%. You're looking at 20% of your paycheck, even if you're making 3.5. That 3.5 turns into less than one, or a little over one, real quick. And you're a movie star. Your face is spit around the planet Earth. You're known by everybody. You can't go to the supermarket without being accosted by people. This is something that these people deserve a paycheck, especially they provide us. Um, so that's a little bit about my spiel. But for guys like me that come to us and come on as guest star, work our butt off for 2 weeks and then don't get to be on the show anymore. It's nice. It would be nice to get that paycheck we got back in 2000, where we could put a little money in our pocket and be proud of ourselves for the work we did.
Well, one thing, if I could chime in for a second, can you guys hear my audio? Okay, you guys
Yeah.
can hear me.
Yep.
Yeah.
This isn't unique to SAG-AFTRA or to the WGA, or this is something we're seeing across industry, where you have organized labor and you have leadership management, where the chasm between the front line and the executives is growing and growing. There was a time 50, 60 years ago when my grandfather was working, where a CEO might make 10 or 15 times what a frontline person makes. Today, a CEO can make anywhere from 500 to I think Bob Iger makes 5,000 times what a frontline Disney person makes. It's ridiculous, and I think that when and I think it's a matter of when we turn to AI and robotics, where we have robots building things instead of people, when we have AI writing and acting instead of people, in every industry, not just writing and acting, but in every, farming, everything else, you're going to have so many people out of work. And I think it's going to be a catch-22, because if people don't work, they don't make money. If they don't make money, they can't buy what you're selling. So if you've put 90% of America out of work because of robotics and AI, then who's left to buy your product?
Yeah. Who's left to go see the movie?
Right. If you don't have a paycheck, how are you going to go see the movie?
Yeah. And to me, it's just greed. It's just incredible greed. One of the things that I know that SAG is asking for is just a minimum wage hike of if you're hired on a TV show, an 11% hike, and then 4% hike the year after, and a 4% hike the year after that if it goes to season 2, if it goes to season 3. And some of the counter offers by the AMPTP, I think they're called, have just been ridiculous. They won't even, with the way that inflation is at the moment, they won't even pay for the rate of inflation for these people to go to work season 2 and season 3. Their raise doesn't even cover the rate of inflation, and that kind of greed is, especially when these companies are making billions, trillions of dollars. I mean, the entertainment industry isn't suffering. These streamers are making tons of money, and more people are seeing shows than ever before, because but these streamers basically every studio has converted to a streaming channel in order not to drown. These streamers and these studios are not hurting for money, and it's my audio's cutting out. Are you serious?
You're good now.
You're good now.
So that whole time I was blabbing away, my audio was cutting out.
Just a little bit, just a tiny bit. Most of that was good.
Yeah, you're good now.
I'm wondering if I was like leaning in and out of the microphone.
Manu, so we had 4 guests. One of them is having some difficulty, but we have 3 people lined up right now. First up, we have
Awesome.
David, Trime, Tavaler, and then we have Travis and Katie.
We have a time traveler coming?
Yes, we have a...
Maybe they can tell us how the strike's going.
Yeah.
Or how it goes.
So here's David.
All right, can you hear me?
Yo, what's up, David? Are you in the future?
I should have my hat on. And let's see, I have a badge too. Here we go. I actually stole that off of a dead time travel cop. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Anyway, my name is Trime Tavaler. The R goes backwards, proving my theory. So if you have any questions after the show, there probably will be a test. test of patience, at least. Anyway,
I want to know what those time traveler cops look like. Like what kind of weapons do they have?
Usually, it's implanted into their skull using Neuralink technology in the very near future, about 30 decades from now.
Can they shoot with hands? Do they have like super powered type?
They don't even have to lift their hand; they just think it at you, and you
just think it.
And it stops time, and you're stuck there.
In
whatever parallel dimension you are in.
Yeah. How did you get this guy and kill him? Or not to say you killed the time.
Oh no, he was already there. I was following up on someone else. With okay, so if you go to 1917, there's a place in San Joseph Bay, up in not Nova Scotia. It's on the other side, Vancouver Island, and for about 40 years it's completely vacant. There's like 300 houses there, and time travelers used it during that whole entire time, just to kind of party. Like it's kind of like Milliways. If you ever read Douglas Adams, people that go to Milliways also go to these parties, and yeah.
So they were like time travelers only parties.
And there are pictures of time travelers that got there too early before the parties. Before the settlers left, and they got published in the 1970s.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Well, that area, it seems like a good place to pop in and out. It's sort of remote, right?
Right. Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why they used it, because it was, people left, and it was, just a bunch of wood burning stoves, cabins, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
they were nice though. Really well taken care of.
Do you know where any of these time travel portholes are located today?
Well, I'm in charge of some time travelers that are from the past and moving forward in time. They came last time I saw them was in the year 2020, and they'll stop again in the year 2032. And they were supposed to stop in 2020, but it was kind of a shit show. And they were like, we're actually going to go a little bit further.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. So time travel, it's it's a lot easier to go forward than backwards. I don't know if y'all knew that or not, but
I didn't. No.
So anyway, these guys, it's this old man and his grandson, right? They escaped from like Nazis or something like that in the about 1940s, somewhere around there, and he was being forced to build this time machine. And he built it, and he went forward into the future with his grandson, escaped from the Nazis that had him prisoner, and went to like 1984 or something like that, and then settled in the United States around 1996 is whenever he started building the next time machine, and whenever it was launched into the future 2020.
Okay, so when he got here in 86, though, I'm wondering, does the time machine break when you use it once and you have to rebuild another one?
Okay, so there's I don't understand too much of it. I basically just catch it whenever it comes out and let them out of the vessel.
Oh.
Yeah.
But does the vessel keep working?
Yeah, you can use it immediately after. At least they just did.
Okay. Well, they just came? Oh, okay. I thought you
was
there.
Yeah, no, but then there's other time travelers that are from the future that go backwards, but they never reveal anything. They're very mysterious and kind of annoying, actually.
And I'm thinking these guys that escaped the Nazis, they could care less about the SAG strike.
The Film Actors Guild?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
man. Okay,
really
so
radar. Right?
No, actually, they. What they're doing is they're actually outside of Hollywood right now, sleeping in tents, saying, "Hey, you don't need to pay these guys. We'll do it for free with AI and for free meals." These guys are out there with cans of beans, hiring actors on the side of the road that are willing to work for beans.
So
and they don't even have meat in them. They're vegetarian beans.
Oh my God! So they're getting people to walk through the SAG strike that they caused. The time travelers have caused this SAG strike in order to pay actors beans without any meat in them.
That's right. That is correct. Absolutely.
Makes perfect sense.
I mean, we've all seen 1984.
Yeah, we're in 1984. We lived there.
Yeah.
I know it's 2020 something.
Well, I'm from the future, 1996. That's the next 1996 after metric time.
How's that work?
10 seconds per minute, 10 minutes per hour, 10 hours per day, 10 days per week, 10 weeks per month, and then decades and centuries and stuff are the same.
Yeah. You're never going to be able to explain that to me, unfortunately. That my brain.
Well, it's great when time went metric because the imperial system was just screwing everything up. So nice, simple metric. Love it.
Right.
And yeah, the SAG is a Screen Actors Guild. We want to be careful not to say the Film Actors Guild because that would spell a word I'm not going to say on our air. But just like
but it's true that most of us in the guild are that word.
I was
saggy?
Back when my dad was around, he told me, hey, when they were building the BART system in Northern California, they wanted to copy that in Fresno. They just didn't like the acronym. Fresno Area Rapid Transit. Yeah.
Oh, Fresno, the fart train.
But we have the Brevard Area Rainbow Family here. That's BARF.
Barf.
Yeah.
I kind of like it because I've been to a few gatherings.
Yeah. So you've barfed before.
I've
that
barfed
24-hour flu.
Yeah, that
drink the water.
The whole Giardia.
Yeah.
Happens every now and then at the gatherings.
Yeah, I'm not
You ever
gonna say I
been?
haven't had that
Are there
before.
time travelers at gatherings?
Up until a certain point, it's all. So a lot of people, whenever they start taking cell phones and stuff like that, it's not very useful anymore as a way to travel. But in the 90s, there was a lot of us that were doing that. I mean, we would basically buy weed and now and bring it back to then. Ever have like the goods? Like I always say, I had better weed back then than I do now.
Yeah. Okay. I see.
Yeah. Always looking out for myself,
Yeah. Well,
my younger self.
Yeah. So do you have the ability still to travel?
Through Dreamcination, we everybody can through a really deep state of meditation using medicinal LSD and maybe some peyote.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I've cocktail with ketamine, and I would also suggest nitrous oxide just for like that instant, you'll get your answers, but you'll lose them really incredibly quick.
Yeah. I've seen nitrous oxide. On nitrous oxide, I've seen portals open, but then I once you come right off of it,
I once saw a whole tooth pulled right out.
Yeah. You ever done global Dianetics? You remember back in the day you could drink Robitussin, but before that,
yeah.
It's called dextromethorphan.
Dextromethorphan hydrobromide.
Yeah, they used to sell it over the counter in a bunch of pills, and I took a bunch.
Still
of
do, right?
No, I don't think so.
You sure?
Think you can just get it over the counter anymore. I don't think so. No.
Oh, I don't know. I thought it was still a thing.
Oh God, I hope so, because on that one time I definitely saw a portal open, and like 3 of these weird interdimensional alien heads came through the portal, and they were like, Manu. And I was like, yeah, and they were like, you're not supposed to be seeing this, and they were like from some hell dimension, and they knew that my soul was too clean to be seeing them or to be allowed through their portal.
Right.
They shut.
I was with you all the way. You had me believing it all the way till you said your soul was too clean. I'm not buying it.
No, it's true. I'm a pretty good soul. I might not be a very good person this time around, but the whole thing with souls is souls live a million different lifetimes at once. Dave, the time traveler, will tell you We live millions of lifetimes at once, and so Manu might be a little bit
Right. Yeah.
broken, but the Manu number 13, Manu number 27, Manu number 5,684,
Yeah.
the whole Manu, and not even Manu, because he has different names, she has different names, it has different names, and it's
Mono e
all
mono.
living. Yeah, it's all living at once. It's a pretty good soul. I got to tell you, I've met it once, and it's lovely. And these three creepy freaking interdimensional alien things with freaky teeth,
Portal gatekeepers.
portal
That's what they sound like
gatekeepers.
to me.
That's what they looked like.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Wow,
sit
they look like King Ghidorah. That's nice. Or is it Ghidra? I can never get it right.
Oh man, they were ugly. I'll tell you that much. They scared me bad. And then the portal shut in my kitchen, and I said, "All right, no more, no more."
You got to pack before you go on a trip like that.
Yeah, well, there's actually like levels of dextromethorphan. What is it? Bromide?
Dextromethorphan hydrobromide.
Hydrobromide. There's
Yeah.
levels of trips that you can go on compared to the dose.
Right. Like 2 ounces is one, and then 4 ounces, and then 8 ounces is like nuts.
Yeah.
16 ounces, like
And
you're probably gonna puke and only fill 8 ounces of it.
I went to that 8 ounce place. I don't remember if it was 8 ounces, but it was a lot of pills.
Yeah.
And that's when I saw the interdimensional portal, and I wanted to do the next level that they talked about, but as soon as I saw those things and the portal, I was like, nah, I'm done.
You ever tried DMT?
Yeah, I have. I left my body on DMT for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Did you go to the same portal, or
Well, no,
that one just passed?
I probably went through a portal of some kind, but I know I left my body, because as soon as I blew the DMT out, I was gone. There was no more Manu. There was no more idea of Manu. There's no more idea of what's it called? Identity. Your identity's toast. I mean, you're not a person anymore. I mean, the couple of DMT experiences I've had, I sort of felt like I was sitting at the center. The best way I could describe it was sitting at the center of of like what's it called, a DNA molecule, and sort of vibing with the presence that all life is in the universe, and just kind of vibing with all the information that life has to all the math that has to go into this virtual reality that we're all in, this sort of like tethered virtual experience that we're all having, the soul and everything. It's sort of like a big supercomputer, but a little cooler than that. What the heck was I saying? Oh yeah, but I was vibing with the energy of life. I understood that I was grass and trees and flowers and bunnies and every other thing in the world that lives, amoebas and rocks and memories, and the memories actually get they become a part of the landscape, a part of the cactus, a part of the all that stuff. And I was seeing different colors. I wouldn't say seeing, but experiencing different colors and experiencing what it was like to just be a DNA molecule. And then when I came back out of the experience, I remember looking at the two friends that I had sit with me to do it. And I looked in their eyes and they looked in my eyes, and I immediately knew that I was them and they were me. And there was absolutely no difference between the two.
Right.
And that this whole idea of separation of individuality and etc. It's just all an illusion.
Right.
But it's crazy. It's crazy. The power of that illusion is from the DMT experience and the ayahuasca experience. I've
Oh yeah, that's fun stuff too.
yeah, the power of that illusion has always, when I've come back to my body from that other place, I've always been blown away by the power of that illusion and why it exists. I suppose it exists because if we were constantly in that other world, then we couldn't function as human beings, I guess.
Right.
But we don't function as human beings very well anyway. I sort of think we're like a failed genetic experiment at best, especially with this new AI stuff. This new AI stuff is scaring the crap out of me, man. Have you seen that robot documentary about what the military's doing? They're
I
making
haven't seen that
Skynet.
yet.
They are making Skynet. The
Right.
Navy, the Army, all five militaries, including Space Force, is making an overarching quantum supercomputer program that can take over and literally tell all the Navy what to do to win whatever battle it's in. And they're thinking about the top brass, the colonels, the whatever the top brass of I don't know how the Navy and the DARPA and Black Ops systems and all that shit works. But I do know that they're thinking about giving over control to this autonomous supercomputer to make the decisions. And I know they're already giving over autonomous control to like drones to decide who to kill, when to kill, how to kill, who to kill. And I think it's all
Well, to my knowledge,
absolutely terrifying.
most drones have an operator.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah.
But there have been 3 examples, and including the war in Ukraine right now, that it is drone versus drone, and some of those drones are autonomous, meaning that they have they have been given the command to decide when to kill without a human being in charge.
I know that they have like some bomb sniffing ones and stuff like that. But
Yeah. And at some point, like, you know, like, for instance, one of the ladies on the documentary said, okay, a drone that was given this autonomous function, what the American lady said was that our drones can't tell the difference between a combatant and a civilian, in the sense that if a little girl was being used by I hate the word terrorist, but let's just say a terrorist, or
like
let's
terrible people.
let's say a terrible person sent a kid with a bomb on his chest or something like that over to us. The drone would absolutely see it as a combatant and kill it. But it's a little girl, and the little girl doesn't know what the hell she's doing. So how do you teach a drone to make that distinction? That's been a problem.
Teach the drone to decide to disarm the bomb instead of killing the occupant.
Instead of kill the kid. But
Yeah.
I sort of think that these nerds are going to kill us. I watched this documentary and I went, okay, I know that, like, just from friends in the elite or friends, smarter friends than me, like, I am not a smart man, but
No.
I do know what love is. I know that just from talking to them, I just lost complete track of thought. God damn it.
Good weed.
Good weed. SAG strike, though. Let's get back to SAG strike.
Yeah.
I had a good time with David talking about everything else, but David, I figured, would be able to tell me what happens with the SAG strike, but he told me that these time travelers aren't coming back till what? 2023?
2032. But those are the ones from the past. I'll give you one little thing about the future, and it's something that'll make you a little bit of money. So you know the movie Deadpool, and there's a third one that's coming out.
Yeah.
The weekend that it premieres in theaters is the same weekend that a whole bunch of cryptocurrency is record high.
Well, like what ones?
Bitcoin. And
will be record high. The same weekend as Deadpool 3 comes out.
Yep.
But here's
don't get Dogecoin. I made that mistake.
Hey, I made a lot of money on Dogecoin, but I don't mess around with that anymore.
I would definitely try to get as much Doge as you can while it's under 10 cents, and then hold it till it's at least $1. I mean, if you're smart, save it. Wait until it's $5. But that's like 3 years from now, 4 years, whatever.
I'm thinking that all these cryptocurrencies are just going to collapse, and the USDC coin is going to take over everything.
Not until 2029. The USDC won't even get off the ground.
So you need to the idea is to cash out before that happens.
Cash out before
so
that
get
happens.
rich, cash out. Then who cares?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly. It's yeah.
So
And then go to 1917 for the party.
for the party, right on.
Yeah, in San Joseph Bay.
So
Hey, if you've got an extra time cab, I'll go.
hey, yeah, I'll go too if I can hop in the cab. They have is 1913 when they established the Fed, and this whole idea of the Fed, and they also made income tax, which made us all slaves, and ended the whole idea of America's.
It was right around that time that the Titanic went down too. That might have been 1912, though. I can't remember.
Oh, so
Actually, the Titanic sank. All right, there's a conspiracy theory that talks about how the Titanic sank, and it was sunk on purpose because there were people on board who opposed the Federal Reserve Act.
Oh, so all
they
those
sunk
rich
it so they
people
can
on
pass
the
it.
Titanic.
Yeah, they were the rich people that
They were the
didn't
elite that
want.
were like, "Nah, we don't want the Fed."
Yeah,
So
because they knew that the
sunk
corrupt
boat.
elite would take over, and they
So it
have.
wasn't an iceberg; it was probably like a
Missileberg.
a missile berg. Yeah, that makes sense.
And also, I got to chime in on this topic. There's another one of my favorite conspiracy theories, and I've heard a couple of like those billionaire guys that talk on stage about how you can do it too. They talk about how nobody knows who this Satoshi Nakamoto, whatever guy is, and they were like, you know what? I think I know who he is, and if you knew who he was, you wouldn't be investing in this Bitcoin. So my conspiracy theory is that way back in 2011, all the world's elite, the Rothschilds, Bilderbergs, all those old families, they started Bitcoin, and you can't know who it is. They have the biggest holding in Bitcoin, and they're going to let it ride. And everybody that thinks they're bucking the system is actually switching over to their new currency early. And by the time everybody switches over, like they're talking about the new USD coin, what's that backed by? That could be backed by Bitcoin. That could be backed by the same people.
Yeah, that's sort of my theory, is that all these people that are using Bitcoin to think that, hey, we're beating the system and we can beat taxes with this. Look, it doesn't take much logic to see that it is a ledger that shows you exactly when you had. It shows the whole world who had the money, when they had the money, when they spent the money, when they transferred the money. It's one of the biggest ways that they, haven't been able. I mean, we are.
It happens like clockwork every 4 years on repeat, following the Bitcoin halving.
Yeah, I mean, we do have a system now where they track us and they watch us and they know all our friends and all that shit. But they can't track our money as well as they have been able, as well as they will be able to with these new Bitcoin ledgers and the what do they call it? The blockchain. The blockchain will basically say, "Hey,
we have 2 more speakers to get to. Before we do it, just a quick question: what's going on with Fort Knox? I really thought that prior to it was it late 60s, early 70s when we got off the gold standard, silver standard, because we used to offer the silver certificate, gold certificates. Now that we're off that standard, what's the point of Fort Knox? I mean, it was the country's wealth, right?
I would like to see if there's anything in there. I don't think there's anything in there.
Sand.
Yeah. Sand.
All right, I'm going to bring Travis over. He could probably, I was stationed at Fort Knox, and Travis has lived around there, and he could probably answer some of those questions. And he's also got some comments on the strike.
On the strike. Okay, also, Die Hard 3, when they robbed the Fed in New York, they have all those gold bars in the basement. That could be where some of them are. The Fed's got them. Probably.
All right, my future husband, Travis. He knows he's my future husband. We've talked about
Travis
that.
was. Sorry, that's not you, but I did the what's up for the wrong person. But I love you, Travis. How are you? Welcome to the show. Hi. Look at me. I'm a digital person.
All right. Is that part of your Star Crew thing?
Yeah.
He's beaming. Can you see it? Can you see he's beaming?
Yeah, you see?
Yes.
Partially materialized.
This is a deep fake of Manu. This isn't even Manu.
Oh, well, hello. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Travis.
Well, I mean, the only thing I heard of about Fort Knox. You know, there's conspiracy theories who say that the gold vault is empty. Now
Yeah.
there are people who say the last time that somebody actually went into the gold vault was actually Steve Mnuchin and what's that guy's at Kentucky, Mitch McConnell, and but no press was invited. It was kept very secret. It was back in 2017. The last time that they actually invited the press was back in. Everybody seen the videos was most likely back in 1973 or 1974, and that's where you saw it was only one. It was stacked from floor to ceiling. You saw all the gold bars and stuff, and that's the only part of us. You could say the American citizens that got to see inside the gold vault, of the gold and stuff, and the people there, that was a representative, senator. They all said it was legit real gold and stuff. So you look at that from 1970 74, 1973, 1974 to recently in 2017 when Steve Mnuchin, who was the Secretary of the Treasury under Trump administration, and then Mitch McConnell and I think a few other people, but they were the only people to venture into the gold vault since
Why
the
did they go?
1970s. That is a really good question. I guess
Were there cameras there? Could you
no,
see the gold?
they didn't invite the cameras to the media this time. They not in not.
It's about time for the people to be like, we would like another look at Fort Knox, please. Let us see the gold.
It would take an act of Congress, and
There ain't shit in there.
and it would take an act of Congress, and then a presidential order.
Well, it would be like the only way that they could pull that off, right, is just by making all the people that work at Fort Knox would be CIA or some kind of agency that's keeping the secret, right?
Yeah, it's a lot to take in when it comes to Fort Knox. I just drove by there a few
I
weeks
thought
ago.
you could like go on a Fort Knox tour or something and be like,
No.
No.
It's
No.
Cassie could tell you it's a very heavily armed facility that's guarded by the U.S. Army.
It's probably the secret entrance to the negotiations for the SAG strike.
That could be a good. You know what? That's right.
That's
Right.
probably what's going on.
I'm
yeah.
surprised when Trump was president, he didn't have his face emblazoned on all the gold bars. Surprised he didn't insist on that.
Yeah.
Really
Could you
surprised.
imagine that?
Yeah.
He got
All right.
but and I was gonna say this too, Mono.
Yeah.
Because of the strike that's going on between the WGA and SAG,
Yes.
for people like yourself, and apparently a studio executive, I'm not sure if Tyson got the clip or something, but a studio executive just recently said that they are going to starve out the strikers until you guys, well, not you per se, but like in a sense I could say you per se, but till you guys are losing your homes, can't pay your bills, and practically are going to be homeless and stuff.
It's already been that way for 20 years. We're used to it. We're gonna that's really the point. And they're gonna make us hurt, and they're gonna make us bleed.
And it gives us a year to build up this.
And that is why I am in Colorado making a show called Dangerous Thoughts. I'm also making a show called Star Crew, so that when the powers that be finally make a deal with us, people that make their content, that we have a show to sell to them, and to create some great storytelling that wakes the people up and gives the people hope and inspiration. I think that they will, the studio heads and some of these power broker business elite that decide to, that just love. I heard the quote about "we're gonna make them bleed, we're gonna make them suffer," blah blah blah. I forget who said it, but some dick.
He was a
Um,
studio executive.
yeah, studio exec. Um, I it's like he doesn't realize where his have if $500 million a year comes from, or he just doesn't get it. And at some point they're going to have to pay us fairly. And if I just don't think the whole world's going to sit around and watch cartoons and digital people. I don't believe we're going to get that out of touch with our humanity.
Well, what do you
I
think
could be
about
wrong.
Bob Iger? What about Bob Iger? He said that some of y'all demands are unrealistic.
Well, they're not. I mean, I just read an article before the show on the demands that SAG is asking for. Um, there was one demand that I thought was a bit unrealistic, and it was a 230% hike, and I forget what it was about. And I know that the AMPT came back with 70%. I think it should be more like around 180%. I don't remember what it was for, but it made perfect sense when I read it. We're not asking for much. I mean, the Screen Actors Guild is asking for residuals to be tracked, residuals to be given back to actors, AI to be, policed. And if we're gonna, if AI is gonna actually be something that we make a deal with the studios for our images and our likenesses, etc., that it's gonna only be used for one job and not 100. And if it's going to be used for 100 jobs, that we get pay for those 100 jobs. We're asking for very simple things that aren't outlandish and aren't uh, ridiculous. Higher residuals, better pay. Actors have been getting screwed over on pay for years. You know, letting screen, and the writers are just saying, give me better pay, more respect. Without a great screenplay, look, I've been working on a screenplay for 5 years with 5 different writers. And it's finally getting to a point where it's like something really, really special that has all these beautiful layers and all this beautiful storytelling that's going to affect the human heart. And of course, a lot of people can write screenplays much faster than that. But the development process for films can take anywhere from 3 to 10 years. And all that work and all that heart and all those artists getting together to make these films and make these stories that affect us the way they do are because of all that work that humanity puts in. And if that's just going to get spit out of by a computer and made by a digital, VFX machine doing its
Yeah.
own work, I'm just not interested in the Hollywood machine anymore. I would rather, I'll just go do theater because I'm sure people will want to see people perform uh, in some way for the rest of time. So I don't know. I'm not concerned. I don't think what the Screen Actors Guild is asking for, especially with Bob Iger, who makes $1 billion a year or whatever he's making. I know
I
that's
think it was 400 some odd million
four
dollars.
hundred and something $1 million a year. But for him to say a 4% increase on year two for our salaries on a TV show is ridiculous when he's making, $450 million a year. Is he's just is Iger Disney?
Yeah,
Yes.
Iger's Disney, and it does fall flat when you're making multi million dollars, in his case $500 million annually, and then you're saying we don't have money to pay the actors. Oh, well, we can start by not paying you so damn much, and some of the other executives not so damn much, and on
Yeah.
and on. That's part of it. Um, uh, Also, I think there is a legitimate use for AI. So remember when they in Rogue One when they brought back young Leia, and in the Mandalorian when you have Luke Skywalker as a young person, right? That I think is appropriate because an actor can't make themselves look really young again. And as long as they're getting paid for their image, or the estate of Carrie Fisher is getting paid for that image, I think it's fine, because those are things that an actor can't do. So you have to use that AI to do it. But in every instance where an actor can do it, an actor should do it, right?
Yeah, right. That's how I feel too. And if you look at it, just look up the top 10 things that the Screen Actors Guild is asking for regarding the strike, and you'll see that there's nothing that the Screen Actors Guild is asking for that is unrealistic or greedy. The greed is all on the side of the studios. They're making trillions and trillions of dollars, and it's not just actors. I mean, it's wardrobe people, it's VFX people, it's set designers, it's people that come to the studio and break their back all day long giving tours.
Well, wouldn't you say this
it's
about the studios too? That the executives like Bob Iger now are goal responsibility is to make money for their shareholders.
Oh, of
Make
course,
the
it's
bottom line.
bottom line bullshit. Yeah, and and it's also like for instance, I was a part of these 2 movies that were supposed to film this year, and I was going to get 15 grand a film, and I was going to work 4 weeks on each film, and that's for me, that's like sad. Um, these were $10 million films, and now now these crooked producers that are making these movies are going to take them to Bulgaria, and I'm hearing through the grapevine that there's like SAG waivers that are available that these producers are gonna try to forge to say that we hired these actors before the strike was called, and thus they can travel to Bulgaria and work on these movies. And I don't want any part of it. I'm just like, this is crooked, strike breaking. What's it called? Picket line, when you cross the picket line. What's it called? Scab. Bullshit.
Scab. Yeah.
And just the fact that they're even trying it is to me disgusting.
Thank you for your time and all. I know there's other people wanting to speak, guys, and stuff. I don't.
Yeah, let me take a couple more people. I know we started 7 minutes late, so let's take these last couple callers and then we'll cut the show off. Who's next?
You got Katie.
Hey, Katie, what's happening?
Hello. How are you?
I'm sorry, I'm what's upping everybody today. That's
I tried
because
to get Chris.
That's because Chris, our what's up guy, is gone. He's not even showing up, man. We make danger. We invest this money. We put dangerous thoughts on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and we're we're gonna start flipping stuff and going to Twitter. And our what's up guy, who wraps up the show with his brilliant.
Is that him calling?
No, that was not him calling. That was my lady Val calling. What's happening? Amazon just left the couch on the porch. They didn't knock or ring, and I yelled for them to stop and needed help, and they looked at me and they just drove the fuck off. People are effing a-holes. Get some cigarettes when you come home. Yeah, you got it, baby. Sorry. You got it.
Do we need to get Dave and go over to your house and move the couch when we're done here?
And of course, Amazon are a-holes. The entire corporation is more evil than like anything else I can think of, even the Hollywood studios, maybe. Okay, sorry. Katie, go ahead.
No, what you were saying earlier on about AI, I mean, you've had me on some of the DT spaces about the whole AI thing in general, but when it comes to storytelling, it's ridiculous. I'm sorry, but I mean, aside from the fact that it's taken away from these artists, these actors, an AI writing a script or writing a book or writing any form of story, any form of narrative, an AI cannot capture the essence. And it's quite sad that people are relying so much on AI just to save some money. But the money that it costs to develop the AI in general is going to cost a hell of a lot more anyway. But just the whole AI thing in general, I think that people are relying far too much on AI for the wrong reasons.
Well, here's my thought. My thought of it is, it can, and it will be able to write stories as good or even better than human beings that work for movies. It can and it will, believe me. But why the heck should we be interested in that? I want to hear a story written by a human being because it's their story. It's a real story. It's something that came from a human heart. I don't want my human heart to be
Yeah.
touched by some baloney that came out of a computer. So I don't care if it makes movies better or even makes a better quality screenplay than a human writer. I just don't want to
There's
see it. I don't want to hear it. It's not real. I want to hear stories written by people who were there, or stories from people. Like a lot of times when you write a story or you write a movie, you're taking things from your real life and you're spinning them with fact and fiction, and you're creating this thing that is essentially yours, that comes from a real place, that's trying to touch people's hearts and people's minds and inspire people and remind us who we are as a species. And if a computer can do that better than a human being, I'm not interested. I don't want to hear a computer's story.
Well, yeah, because it's not about being better. It's about
Yeah,
creation. It's about expression. And if we start allowing AI to write our movies, write our TV series, write our plays, and just anything in that area, it's going to take the humanity out of it. And that's what people want. They want the humanity. Yeah, we want quality. We do. But at the end of the day, it's not just about the quality, it's about the humanity of it.
exactly.
And that
I
is
went
one
to
thing that
see a
AI cannot capture.
Exactly. I went to a play recently, and it was such a beautiful play, and it was about these five characters, and one of them was God, and the five actors played a different character on every night, and the play was so brilliant that I had to look up the author and I had to learn about him. I wanted to know more about him and know who he was and know where he went to school and see his next play and get to vibe with this guy and his energy. And you take that away when it's a computer spit out, oh, I want to learn what this computer is going to come up with next. No. Okay, sorry, we're running out of time, Katie. I love you, and I would love to talk to you for 20 more minutes, but we're trying to keep the show to an hour. So Mala, how are you? Where are you?
Mala.
Good. How are you?
Mala, what's up? Hey, how are
Oh,
you?
not too much.
I love you.
Good.
You got in the background there. That's kick ass.
Oh, the candles?
Yeah, it's cool.
Oh, hold on. Look at the banner there, because I have a whole bunch here, but I can't. I don't know if this is going to get blurred. Actually, we're live, so it probably won't get blurred. But
And we're all rated over 18 for all the stuff, so we should be good.
that's one. I love this. I love because San Diego Pride is this weekend here in San Diego. Love that one. My sister, I have got to watch my back because she is waiting to steal this one from me. I love that.
I
Oh,
gotta
that's a
send one
candle.
for
See, you see, yeah, love it. And of course, she does, regular candle. We've got some like obelisk and Christmas tree. Really, she does quality work, and I'm very, very happy. And Mala, your Dangerous Thoughts mug is in the mail right now. You should be getting
And if
that.
you would like to see all
about a
the
week or
other
two.
wonderful creations she makes, you can see on the bottom of the screen right now. Just follow her at Mala Morrigain at Twitter and place your order.
I
Mala,
post
what do you
them
have to
all.
say?
Well, honestly, my parents are like owners of a small publishing company, and for the most part, they do war games and stuff. But AI is going to come through, and it takes from existing work, which is my biggest concern, because that includes writers, that includes the likeness of actors, that includes any intellectual property whatsoever. And it may make a moving and compelling story. It's still stolen words, and it's still plagiarism.
Yeah.
So I am not pro AI in any way, shape, or form, just in that respect, because we've got to protect the people creating these things to put out there.
Yeah.
They're our heart and soul.
There's these few people, that are thinking that AI is going to be the solution to everything, and it's going to create a society where no one has to work and everything is made for us, and we all get credits, and the world works perfectly. But there are so many dangerous, dangerous, dangerous things, not just in the SAG strike and the AI in Hollywood. But I'll tell you one more thing that happened on a documentary that I saw. There were these two people in Cambridge, and they were scientists that were looking for better molecules to treat diseases that we haven't been able to treat yet. And they ran an AI program. And I'm not a scientist, but the way that AI works is it puts a million different simulations up. Say you were trying to teach a dog to walk on a wet surface. Within the computer, it would put a million different dogs on a million different wet surfaces and let them try to figure out how to not slip on the surface and get across it. And then after 24 hours, it would have 300 million lifetimes worth of dogs learning how not to slip. Then they can take that information and they can download it into a robot dog, and that robot dog immediately knows how to cross a wet, slick surface. So, what was my point?
You got this, Manu.
Come on, she said something earlier that struck this whole. I was just damn it.
Well, and I agree with
Oh,
Mullet
gosh,
that it is a
sorry,
type of
sorry.
plagiarism. Yeah.
Very sorry. Yeah, it is a type of plagiarism. Absolutely. So these guys decided that they were going to split the molecule and they were going to let the machine go, and they were looking to try to help people. A think tank came to them and said, "What's the worst that your technology could do if in the wrong hands?" And so they thought for a second. They went, "I don't know. Maybe if we told it to look for toxicity instead of ways to make people healthy." They literally changed a 1 to a 0, and they had it look for toxicity instead of health. They left, they went home, they slept that night, they came back to Cambridge University, and they went to their drive. And on their drive was like millions of the most deadly nerve agents and toxic chemicals that have never been seen by mankind in
That's disturbing.
24 hours. The scientists looked at it and went, "Oh my God, what have we done? Burn the drive, shut down the experiment." But then he realized anybody with this technology can do this, and AI tech is available to a lot of people. And so, as far as AI goes, and as far as the Hollywood strike goes, and AI in Hollywood and AI in general, there are so many gigantic missteps that could be made along the way using this technology. And I really hope that I generally believe that mankind is we're good people, but there's a few of us that aren't. And when you have technology that is available that can hurt so many people, it only takes one of us to use it in a disgusting way to cause so much devastation. So I hope they keep an eye on this stuff. I hope Dave and his time travelers keep an eye on this stuff and make sure it's all right. And it was nice having you on, Dave. It was nice having you on, Travis. As always, it's great to see you. Same with you, Katie. I'm getting some weird sound effect in my headphones. It went away. Cool. Thanks, whoever did that. Mala, did you have anything else to say before we go?
No, that's everything. Thank you for having me.
No, it was
And thank you
awesome
for
to
the
have you.
shameless plug.
No, it was awesome to have you, and I love your penis candles and your FU candles
Thank you.
and all the other stuff you got back there. It's cool. I hope people check it out. I also hate that idea of a shameless plug. Like if we're doing a TV show and we're trying to build an audience and help each other create our art, like let's help each other do that, right? I think it's a good thing.
Thank you.
I wish I could, get some of that time travel action from David time traveling. Thank you. Um, uh, yeah, and as far as the Hollywood strike, I hope it's over soon, but I'm glad that it's finally come, and I hope the writers and the talent, the actors, and even some of the other unions, IATSE, and some of the people behind the camera get some better deals going forward. This is such a huge industry globally that provides so much for mankind that we can't leave it up to the computers and fire millions of people. So we'll see y'all next week on Dangerous Thoughts. In fact, we've got some great guests coming up. Corin Nemec's going to join us soon to talk about the history of corruption in America. Tim Russ is going to join us soon. We were supposed to have a guest tonight, but he got stuck at the airport. Robert Benn was going to come.
Robert Benn, yeah.
We'll give him another chance.
Yeah, he'll come.
He
back.
seems really cool.
Yeah, just some great people will be dropping by on Dangerous Thoughts. So stay tuned. We're here every night at 6. Every night. Yeah, right.
Every night.
Yeah, every Sunday at 6 p.m. The live show, and then we'll be over on Twitter for overtime to discuss the topic a little bit more. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week on Dangerous Thoughts.